It's Sunday, fun day, and we're going to do it all over again. I want to thank everybody for the comments yesterday. I want to thank everybody for all that sort of stuff. I want to know where everybody's from. And the reason being is I want to know how, what's that called? How far away, or, yeah, just kind of, there's people all over the world that are watching. I want to know how far away you are, and how many different people have the same thoughts and camaraderie that I do. If you're watching the show, you obviously have the same thoughts, or think the same somewhat, I guess, or just watching for the hell of it. But, no matter where you're from, we're all sort of the same people, if you know what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. But anyways, I got this little shock here. I found it over in the container. It's a little shock. I don't know, it would be for a trunk lid or something like that. I remember seeing on the pictures of, I don't know, one of the cars, they had a little shock going on there, or a little thing for the door. When it come open, it stopped and closed and all that sort of stuff. But that might work. That might work. Shh, come on with the door. Awesome. I was just looking at the car, seen that shock, so I brought it over and looked at it. We're back on the front end of the Bugatti. And as I'm sitting here this morning, I was just sitting here this morning looking at things, and I know why sports cars cost lots of money. I know why. Because the time it takes to engineer everything you need to make it go fast and stop good and all that stuff means that you have to take your biggest engine and put it in your smallest car. And that means that everything that you do is a little bit closer, a little bit tighter, a little bit stronger, a little bit better. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it really does, if you're thinking about it, when you just put a car together for the line, you're not worried about, the maximum speed and how it handles and all that sort of stuff, I don't think. I'm just thinking as a company, sort of, it's building cars. Something like this where you would have to engineer everything, where everything's so close and so tight. Yeah. And that gets me into the radiator. Yesterday I had to make this bracket for the radiator and drill some holes and cut the mounts off down the bottom. We have to remember when I put that piece of angle iron on, I had a piece of angle iron on there first, and it bolted the radiator on. And the reason it was there and bolted on, because it was the only place that would fit in the car. I cannot move the radiator. The radiator is fixed, if you know what I'm trying to say. When we built the chassis in the car, or had the radiator in the car, there was no moving it whatsoever. So when it come time to take that angle iron out of there, I really had to make sure that the radiator was bolted in its fixed place before I put the bolts through to put it in its new mount. There was no room for moving it. That's where it was, that's where it goes. If you want to come around to the side there, we had a little problem in the car, and a little problem still. This is the distance between the fan. You can see the distance between the fan and the radiator. It's pretty close there, right? But that's where it was. That's where it had to be to fit up and through the middle of that small front end of that car. Also, this fan was a little tall, and I got that radiator hose hooked on there. And now I see that the fan, you can come take a look at that too if you want to take a look. You can see just hitting it. Well, you know what? I can take that fan off, or I might fix the fixture on the radiator itself to turn out a little bit. You know what I mean? There's two things going on there. Like, obviously there's more than one way to skin the cat, and what I mean by that, you can start from his toes or you can start from his head, if you know what I'm trying to say. But as I'm doing this, the choices you have to make and the choices you do are basically that is up to me, because I'm building the car, obviously. But it's fun to show, and to have you watch, and you have your own opinion on what you would do. See? And then what that does, that makes you want to do something, which when I see you're doing something, I want to do something. So it's kind of a good working thing, But as I'm doing this, I'm not saying I'm right all the time, not whatsoever. But I always do. I always try to do what works and is easiest. Basically, that's basically what I try to do. So, yeah, if I have to, if it costs me no money to cut the fan, and it costs me, well, I suppose I could probably do that myself. I'll probably do the fixture on the radiator and instead of cutting the fan. But there's two things here that you can do that would not hurt that fan whatsoever. This radiator is wide open on the front of that car. There should be no lack of air on there, I wouldn't think. Right now I've got the rack and pinion sitting there. I'm going to try to shove it up in front of the radiator and see what I have. Radiator is fixed. It cannot move. I cannot move it side to side, up and down. It's fixed. I had to make sure that I could bolt it from the bottom. I've got the bottom ones beat off. Yes. We also had some comments saying that I could have put the mounts on the side of the radiator and go to the side of the frame and then bolt it in that way. Yes, I can. Yes, you could have. And I got thinking about it, you know, when I take that to brain because, and to be truthful, I would like to know the best and fastest way too. I really would. You know what I mean? To build a car, I would listen to that idea because that idea worked. It did. I could have made a bracket on this side of the radiator and bolt through there. I could have made a bracket on this side and bolt through there. No problem at all. But the only thing I will say, this is what I'll say to that one. You've made 2 brackets, and I've made 1. So that's where my head's at. Basically. What's that, baby? No, like what I'm. This is another thing too. Jolene had this idea. Why didn't you bring it over here and lay it on top of the frame? Well, I could not do that because I have a dot right here instead of a black marker. And sometimes, you know, you have an opinion, you don't know the whole story, then you get caught up. See, and but there's a black dot there. I have to drill that out, make a hole there, and weld a nut in there so I can bolt down the mount that I made for the body. So in actual fact, the body of this car runs through here. The grill comes down in here. That grill comes all the way down to here and then wraps up around like this. It's quite something else for the chassis, you know, for the air ride, what we're doing to make it look like this. But this is what it looks like to fit that. This frame is built for that car, which was never here, and this frame was here, but we're modifying it and making it what we can from the stuff I have. And I still, just because I guess what I mean, my ability to acquire something has changed a little bit, doesn't change me. You know what I mean? Like, does not change me. I'm still the same person. I still want to make it, build it, and do it as cheap as possible from the stuff I have in the dooryard to get it done. Jolene has bought the new engine. 100% new engine, great. But I have some stuff to build it with, and I told her I was going to build the car, so I really want to use the stuff I have and what I can. I just don't want to jump and run and go buy something. I don't want to do that. It's not what I think of when I'm doing this. I don't think about where can I go buy something to do to fix it. You know, what kit can I buy, or what can I buy from somebody? It doesn't go there. It goes, what do I have? What do I have to do to get the job done? So anyways, as I have the mount or the radiator mounted on there, I actually stuck one bolt in now, and I'll stick another one right in the present moment. I'm just getting ready this morning. We're just getting turned up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the rack and pinion in there and see where it goes. You know, see what happens. Remember, you have to remember, I cannot move the radiator. Cannot move it. That's where it goes. Because I had the mounting when I first started and took it off. I'm happy with this closed together. I'm real happy with that. I like this mount. This is nice and clean. There's nothing big going on. Nothing too much. How's that? It looks good to me. I'm just going to take this out. I just want to bolt it up tight to know, hope that works. What's going on is when I cut them off, I just cut the weld off when I cut the brackets off the bottom of the radiator. And what I did is I took the plasma cutter, I had it marked on there, cut a hole in the other side, had the radiator there. Then I stuck a piece of pipe in there. So you can see the pipe where I just welded on there, a little bit of there, and I just tilt my bolt through there, and it flushes up nice. Also, it does not crush the pipe. There's no, I didn't weaken it. It made me make it a little stronger, maybe. I have my nuts on the back side. And this is how it fits. You can come see. Now I've got that tight in there with the washer. Now that's the distance I have between the radiator and the bolt, and that's what they had before. So I'm hoping, this is what I'm hoping, that even though I say that, you can't move it, I am hoping that I still have it in the same place when I knew that I had to have it there. That's what I'm saying. As I had that there, I'm going to grab, I got ready a little bit. Grab this. You're fine, sweetheart. Give you a seat over here if you want. No, you're good? Jolene's looking amazing this morning. She always looks amazing. You know when she looks the most amazing? When she goes to get me coffee. Because she's just getting out of bed. Amazing. Anyways, get back on the game here. I'm going to put this rack in here and check it out. The rack, yes. As I see here, as I get looking at this, something, as I get, engineering or building, or I don't want to give me too big of a word. As I'm putting this model together, this glue model, you can see where the opening is here. You can see where the opening is in front of the radiator. That arm is going to have to run underneath our lower control arm. You know what I mean? It's going to run underneath. It doesn't look good. And what I'm saying is, if you come see this distance in front of the radiator, this hole that we're trying to make for that rack, when the arm runs out, it's going to run out here underneath this arm. It's going to have to go underneath. And it looks like it can get it, but it looks like it's close and all that sort of stuff. Remember also, have to have a shock. Have to have a shock. We'll have to make a mount or buy one or whatever. You can buy the ones that are about 5-6 inches high, and you just lean them off or tip them whatever way you want. And then you can even buy the bracket for down the bottom and bolt them on. There's not much to it. You just have to know where to get them. I do generally get them at Speedway. It's just an easy spot. All right, here we go. I don't like that already because I'm underneath the arm. The power steering box on the rack here is hitting the radiator. I can't turn it down. Doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. Hangs down and doesn't look good. As I've been looking at it, it does not look good. I do not like it underneath there like that. It does not look good. It's hitting the radiator. It does not look good. All the stuff that I have moved, and then pieces going down in my brain could have stayed. But I like that better. I like that better. I'm happy with the changes in the front end. I'm happy with this coming together, and I'm happy with the one bar going across, more so than this apart and something dangling down on this. Less is more for this, I think. As I get looking at this, I want, to be honest with you, I want it where the radiator is. I'd like to have it where the radiator is, so maybe just beyond just a little bit. The only hole left is just in front of the radiator, underneath the fan. This is where I'm looking, underneath the fan. And there's others, like when I say there's other ways to skin the cat, there's a million, like not a million, a few different ways. We have a steering box, we can do that. I have not got that right at the present moment. I have this steering rack. It was given to me by Doug, but donated by Steve from a Jaguar. So I'm going to throw this back there and try to put that in there and see what it looks like. What I'm going to tell you is, as I see that going in there, you can see my arm's looking better for this. I never thought about putting it in there. Never thought about putting it in there, but here we go. After, you know, what I'm saying, I've been cleaning up the front end, trying to make it, you know, place for the rack, and come to find out it's not even going to work. And then I have time to reflect, and I like what happened because I thought it was going there. So I'm still very happy with what's going on, is what I'm trying to say. And it doesn't matter. It takes longer to build two small brackets than it does to build one big bracket. It takes longer because you're doing two. I'm going to bring the jack. It's like I did a job on a Mini Austin one time, or like a restoration on a Mini Austin one time, and I thought it would take me, do that, no problem, nail it. It took me just as long to do the little patches as it did to do the big patches. And the reason being is I got to do all the same stuff. I got to cut it out, I got to clean it, I got to weld it, I got to grind it, and I got to finger sand it instead of blocking, you know, using a big tool. So it's really, you think small job, less, no, it doesn't work that way. Just you have to do all the same process. Here, let's see if I get that on there. Just a piece of advice, that's all. That's all that was. Look at that now, would you? I even like the arm better. This was not a plan. This is where, in my brain, I think it has to go right now. There's no other place, where is there? To me, it's not up front. It does not jive. But as I put this in here, I'm going to be causing myself another issue, aren't I? And that's what you call customizing. You can see the red on the bottom. This don't look. That's hitting right there on that little chuck. This must turn her open and let the water out of it. I would just, now what I'm thinking now is I'm going to have to put just close it right off, or put a little tiny hand check, like a little tiny one in there instead of this thing. Take that off. You see the red hose over there on the bottom? That's facing right into the rack. Facing right into the rack. Now, as I get thinking about this up here, this fan hitting, or cut the fan, or change this, well, it seems to me probably the work will be done to the red, because it's, you know, one thing I can do, because I'm going to have to do the top and the bottom. I can probably move that out a little bit, but the red opening needs to be turned up, and it needs to be turned up hard. It really does, by the looks of things. What I do like, look, arms are behind this. That fits nice. It doesn't, like, I have to have a ball joint on the end of that. That fits nice. This is what I'm going to check. See how far the wheels turn. That's how far the wheels turn. And that'll hit there. You're not doing circles around. That'd be quite a turn, that would be. See if I can get that up over there. No, I'm going to turn that back. Now that I look at this, see that movement there? That's all the way down there like that. It's got all the movement all the way up. You know, same thing. You know, wouldn't hurt it here at all. So here's where it would be when you dropped it. It'd be up here, right? So I want to put this in there. That's on a jack too, so seeing that would hook up there. Doesn't too bad. Or go in there a little bit. That would turn your wheel that far without coming close to your arm or anything. It wouldn't come close to your arm anyway because it's way down here. That's fine. It's good. And the reason I know that works, because it will go there, will go this way or that way. That was for. I would say. Also, every time I move on this front end thing, there's a hill I have to jump. There's this right now. I see the steering is going into the motor mount. I may have said it, I may have not said it, but the motor mounts were not finished because I had to, when I got the body off or I got the motor back out, I have to make these motor mounts removable, be able to get the engine out from the underneath. There's a good video of me dropping the engine on the top, if you want to go watch it. This is in a nutshell. This is what I'm thinking as I'm doing all this stuff and everything that's going on. I'm thinking the radiator is where it's supposed to be because I stayed with the bottom. When I put it in the car, that's the mount that it had. I stuck to that mount by just moving it and replacing the bolts in the mount with something else. That means I kept it bolted up where it's supposed to be and then made a new one and just cut that rest off. So I'm trying where it's supposed to be. This did not work for the front end. It does not work for the arm to me. I do not like that the rack hits the radiator. This is fitting quite nice. I think I can get all my turn radius with that there. The motor mount is not finished. Also, when you come back and take a look at the car. Come back this way, please. Just come back a little bit. I noticed it myself. It did not matter. It did not matter to me at the time. But if you want to get down and take a see this transmission pan. It's crooked. It's got to come down on that side. It's got to come down. This engine's got to come down on that side. It's crooked. You can tell because it's sitting crooked. So I'm going to bring this I'm going to get the engine picker out here. I'm just thinking in my own brain. I'm going to make a bracket for that rack and pinion because I'm going to leave that there and try to deal with the radiator after I bracket the rack on. Because if I start trying to go around looking for stuff, I don't want to spend the time out buying or looking or anything really. I got something here. I can try to make it work, and that's what I'm basically going to do. I'm going to leave the radiator where it is. I'm going to put the rack in. It might be in the front of the spout down the bottom of the radiator, but I'm going to have to take that radiator off and do a couple things. I'm either going to have to change the spout on top of this, bring it out a little bit, and turn that one up so I can get a rad hose on it. That's basically, there's some work that's got to be done to this, yes, but I need it to be done to apply all the other stuff that I need. The motor mount, when I get the rack in, I'll get the engine picker out, hold the engine, I'll let it sit down where it's supposed to sit down, then I can get on my knees, my own knee pads, and I can make a new motor mount to accept the steering. Right? Kind of gives it, one problem caused me I knew I had to fix this anyways, so why not put the rack there and make the motor mount work. I did not have the steering working in the car, never hooked it up once, never had the rack in place. Yes, I did have the rack in place. It was in the front. But I had to remove it because of the radiator. That's what happened. The radiator's more, I got to have a radiator. There's more than one, different steering mechanism. So I'm going to make a bracket for this power steering rack. This power steering rack, I made these two. I'll probably buy some factory ones if we can. I'm sure we can. These are just brackets here. They just wrap around the rack and they bolt up to something that's flat. And let's get back and take a look from the underneath and see what the rack looks like, if it's hanging down too low, if it looks uglier. Because if this car is riding... tape measure going the wrong way. To me, the car looks pretty level going down the chassis on the side of it. Looks pretty nice sitting there on the air ride. I'm thinking that the bottom arms are nice and level. The top ones are up just a little bit. Looks pretty good actually. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what the ride height of this thing is right now. And the bottom of this car is as low as it's channeled down over this frame. So whatever the frame is the ride height. 7 inches right there. 7 inches is quite something for the bottom of your car to ride around. That's, you know, 7 inches. So let's look at the front of it. In other words, I want to look at the front. Come down here. You got to come down this way. See, that looks good, eh? That looks real good. I like it back there better. Now that you can see you can see the front end going across. You can see the radiator. Look where the rack is. That's nice. I enjoy that. I like it there better than in the front. And in the front, like I said, I did all that work to get the rack in there, but the front end looks better, cleaner, sharper. Yeah. When that's all painted and all filled out, you would think that was that way from factory. Yeah, so I'm going to do it. Also, if you can take a look at this too. When I look in here, you can see, look at this now, would you? You can see, sometimes you got to be good to be lucky, but I have to jump a bunch of hoops to be lucky. You can see this part right here, that's where the bracket goes around. That's awesome. And the reason being is, it's same on the other side. And the bracket can go around this and bolt right through here. So I can make a piece of metal go down across here. We'll make a flat piece go across here, up, and then 45 into the frame. And then we'll gusset it one way or the other. We'll gusset it off. We'll work these two mounts off each.
Yeah, sorry.
Huh? My battery died, so I got to talk louder. You can see that this clamp here would go right around that and bolt up to that flat piece of metal. That's nice. That's nice. I like that. It's clean. But the issue is the radiator. If I go over to the other side, let's take a look at the other side. I guess that microphone coming off made me speed up for some reason. What's the issue with that? I'm going to get to doing something. That's what it is. Look at this side. It's almost the exact same place, just a little tiny bit. Look at the clamp going underneath there, and there's where your steering is. Not hitting on the radiator there. Let's go to the other side. Now I'll show you the issue on the other side. When you customize something or you change something, it's just a continual, every action, generally, there's a reaction. That's in life and fixing cars. So if you do something wrong, there's another something coming after that. If you know what I'm saying. So every action, there's a reaction. Yes, as you bolt that on there, what was I getting at? Oh, right here. The radiators. That's gonna be turned up. It's gonna be turned up quite heavy. You know, it's gonna have to be turned up quite heavy or done something. Might have to change this line. That'd be another hurdle. You know, that might be able to change that line, get that out of the way a little bit. But that's what's gonna have to be done. That's gonna have to be dealt with. I know what you're saying. Bring the radiator up a little bit. Can't move it. Not allowed. That was the name of the game on that one. You cannot move the radiator. And I'm trying to do it all, paint it, do the underneath the car, set it down on, and then I would finish the outside. I'd just take the underneath off, paint the outside, and be done with it. All right, here we go. I think I'm going to leave it there. I can't. And everything that is not looking good, what am I going to say? It'll be fixed. It'll be fixed, repaired, may look better when it's turned upside down, or so on and so forth. I'm just trying to get this center exactly center would be nice. That looks pretty good, man. I don't know what to say. I'm gonna do a measurement. Maybe just do a measurement on it. Let's get a piece of cardboard. Let's get it in place. And basically, all this is decision making. If you like making decisions, whether what you're gonna do in a certain spot, this would be a fun job for somebody. You know, get an old car and try to make something. And basically, it's like what I said yesterday. all you have to, if you know what a car looks like underneath and how they built theirs, you're allowed to do it the exact same way. Should be able to. It doesn't matter what car it is, Toyota, Oldsmobile, Chevy, Dodge, Ford. If, you know, you can imagine, you can imagine. Everybody's running around on straight axles, and then the first person that changed to coils, oh, you can't do that. Can't do that. Can you imagine? Yeah, for sure it would be. And then it turned into torsion bars. You got no springs. You can't run a car like that. Well, yes. You see, all that stuff is done by pioneers that are not scared, or was not scared, to try something and try to make it work. You know, that's basically what it is. And all I'm doing is copying off all them smart people. That's basically it. I'm copying off all the smart people. You know, we're taking what's already done and making it my own. And basically, that's what it's all about. That's how I think of it. Like, if this has already been done, I think it should be okay for us. Someday, that's what I think in it. So I'm going to try to do this. Is this exact same thing as making the motor mount? Put it in place. Exact same front end, everything. Try to put it in place, and then try to make something go to it to fit. And that's what I'm going to do. Think about this for a minute. What I'd like to have is I'd like to have the piece of metal. We got a flat spot here, right there. We got a flat spot in that rack, and that's a flat spot right there. I want a piece of metal go down there in front of that flat, hard up, so I can take that clamp I showed you before and clamp it to it. Drill a hole here, drill a hole underneath of it, clamp it, hook the ball joint to my front end. We know it turns because I did the turn radius thing. Not making it no more complicated than that. Simple as that. I'm going to make it this wide. There's a little jog in on this side, and a little jog just a little bit. Now, I'd probably grind that off if I had the chance. Maybe I should grind it off right. No, I'll just notch it. I'm just going to go do this. Make a little notch there. And then I'm going to jog it in. All I'm trying to do is make it match. I got a little, that length right there, so that's that length. Right? That's that length. And I gotta come in here. I want it underneath here. No, I don't want to cut that off. I'm gonna do this. I want it up here. Now, which piece am I want? I'm mixed up. There we go. No, this one goes in. No, sorry. Got mixed up right here. That look like the piece I want. So the front of the rack, there's a bowl hole there, comes up straight, goes in on the frame here. Don't put in that far, does it? Up here like that, that goes welded on the side of the frame, then 45's down there. So that's what I'm making this piece right here. Let's cut it before I get all upside down now. I cut it right. If we know, we'll just add to it, right? Piece of tape or do it again. Basically, that's the end of it. Just do it again. This is just a guess, right? Don't hold me to it. That's all I'm asking. Be some knife and fit, though, wouldn't it? Huh? Good unit then. Alrighty. For one thing, that's got to be cut off. I'm going to cut that off straight right there. Okay. Remember that clamp just got to come up to this, bolt through this, in the bottom. Just trying to make it fit, and I want that. I don't like how it's angled the wrong way. I gotta come over a little bit on that one. And I gotta make it an inch higher. Let's do it again. Jolene, hungry? Ah, we're up and at it nice and bright and early this morning, aren't we, baby? Huh? Bright and early this morning, huh? Roosters go cockle-doodle-doo, and hens go any cockle-doo. Do you like that? Oh, shit. I know a lot of stuff, and some stuff shouldn't be repeated. That's all. I was over there too shy on that. I'm gonna do this, because I messed up when I marked it. And if this doesn't work, I'll do it again. Add to it. You know? Why wouldn't I? Gotta get up there. Spot. And then I'll need, hopefully, 2 of these, if it works on the other side, don't know. There's 2 different things going on here. Get a piece in there like that. Get in there. So, that don't look bad, does it? So that's what we'll do right there. Boom. Take them all that piece of, put a piece of metal in there, weld it down there like that. I'd want to gusset that, so I probably would weld maybe a piece on the bottom that goes underneath the frame, and maybe a piece that goes maybe this way, from here to this frame to this frame, so it can't turn. Now this would have a lot of pressure on it, I would think, and you don't want it would want help. So wherever way I put this on here, I'll put another piece on, or a triangle, to help hold it. That's what I'll do. But that's the piece I think that. I could win a little bit on that. Quite a ways actually. I want to win a little bit and get this right here. See this little bit here? I could win some more. So what I do, I know where my cutout is, or my frame is, because right there, and just cut a little bit in on the new piece, and it can be shaped. It can be shaped once you have the engine out, have this front off, and it can be shaped once I get it down in there and bolt it on and knock it to the front. If I had this out of the way, this out of the way, and had it turned upside down and had the ball joint on the wheel, I could really do a nice job. And that's basically the point when it gets done. That's, you know, I do not, what can I say? I do the job when it's the right time, I guess. I'm gonna do another one of these. I am. And the reason being is because I want more meat on this part. So I'm gonna go over there. Do it again. So this is my frame. I want to take a little bit out of this. I want this piece right here. Not that much more. Maybe even a little bit more, because I can always shave it off when I get underneath, but I really want to get enough for the frame cut out, because it's going to have to slide in there. That's right. I'm hoping. Just added some too, that's all. That'll work for now. Like, I can always cut it off. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make 2 of them. I'm trying to daydream at that. It's Sunday, fun day. We'll let you know how much fun we had later, won't we? Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for all the comments. You know, to me, if you're like, you know, calling or messaging or talking or whatever, it's really fun because you're into what I'm doing, and that's good. It's good. Yeah, we need engagement, you know. We need engagement. Also, you get your brain to, you know, go into what you think you would do. Like, basically, that's what it is, isn't it? That's a good thing. Think about what you can do. a good thing. Let's try this piece on one more time. There's that going in there. We need to go over more. I need to cut that out more. Teddy, cut that out. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Like it looks. You got the real angle. I can't see your angle. Your angle is probably better than mine. You know what I mean? I can't see. I can only see one angle at a time, and I can only look down. But you got that camera facing on this. I can't wait to see what the video tells me. It says, move it over some. I see things like if I watch, I can see things like, come on, man. But when I'm there and I got my fingers underneath there trying to get that bolt in, and I'm watching myself, sometimes it's so funny because I'm thinking like, wow, get with it. That fits really good. That fits really good. That one does. I'm gonna go to the other side. Cross your fingers, cross your legs, cross your toes. Be a part of it. Look at that now, would ya? You love me.
Awesome.
Is it? Good. Awesome. And that way there we can weld those in there, put them on the angles, that's it there. Then we gotta go to another hurdle. And this is how I'd work that hurdle. I'm gonna put this bracket in for the rack. I'm gonna leave the radiator in place. I'm gonna then I'll jack the motor up and fix the motor mount and apply to the steering. And I'll continue back and the radiator will get fixed when it's the right time. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna run around and try to get the radiator fixed before there's so much to do. And that would be, we'll try to plan it so it works out right. But yeah, we'll just leave it in there and continue on. Very happy about everything. I need some metal. I got some plate here somewhere. I need plate. Didn't think of that, did I? Baby.
What about over here?
Huh?
That's
Oh, yeah. There's a plate there. I was gonna make a Hiltz auto cover line, and you can see what happened. The old projects got to it before we did. Basically, I'm gonna lay this thing down. This thing will chop your fingers off if you don't watch it. Chop your fingers off if you don't watch it. I just want to take it out. We first cut the chairs out of this thing, didn't we? You can see the chair sides. Oh, you're not talking to me now. Oh, you can talk to me now. You got no mic on.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Fina Beena. You want to give me a kiss, did you? Give me if you like.
Okay.
And I need 2 of them, don't I? I need 2 of them. I wanted a straight edge. That's what I wanted on that. Kind of both sides of that. And this stuff will be, holes will be drilled when it comes time to go underneath. I'm basically doing the exact same thing with this as I did with the radiator. I gotta get a mount in there, so when I get it upside down, I know where it goes, basically, eh? And that will be the time when that stuff will get finished, but I need to put a mount in place to continue forward, and then it will be onto that motor mount. So, I'm working with what I have, trying not to go anywhere or ask anything, try to find instead of going and buying the panel, I was always thinking, how could I make it out of something that I have? So exhaust pipe come into the running board. I couldn't make that edge, shrink it, and roll it. I could not do it. Don't have the gear, wasn't ever taught, never shown. But I do have a piece of exhaust pipe that I can bend to get me that shape. That's the way I look at that sort of stuff. I try to, and I enjoy it. I'd rather make or try to build than buy. We go into winters, Jolene wants a desk. I'm looking, well, I'm trying to think if I can make it before I buy it. If it's, you know, square tube metal with a piece of wooden top on it, like. And most times, they have you beat because, let's face it, you're not running a production, you're trying to build it, and it's a one-off. They've got everything all set up, and they're rocking and rolling. I would say, or that's the way I would do it to make money. I always think of McDonald's. What's the fastest, easiest way? I'm going to try to put these glasses in here. I'm going to try to put them in there, dry, for a little bit, probably an hour or so. Here it goes. Thanks for coming back and watching and talking about things. All it is conversation, camaraderie. This shows diversity, and that's basically what's going on. The strongest, the strongest thing in the world would be diversity, would it not? And that's why I ask, where's everybody from? We're all thinking the same way, I guess, or we're, want to know the same thing, or you're just making fun of me. Might be time to clean the little tip. Also, remember, if you make a bad boo-boo or whatever on your cut, you need it for penetration. Right? That's what you want to say, eh? See, this is what's them big tables they have to cut things out? Air jet table or whatever. Water jet table. That's me. All polishing these pieces will be done. Well, I'll do a little bit, but we'll be done when it's flipped upside down. And like I said, if any edges or like the square in the front, they'll be all rounded off. No worry. That's a sprocket from the bicycle that I made. We got a picture of another guy. We inspired another guy to build a bicycle. Now I think he done it maybe a nicer job than we done. He did a nice one, didn't he? Instead of making the bar go, the tank going like this, he made the tank go down like that. That's awesome. Good job. It was awesome. I enjoyed it. I liked it. you have the computer up here?
I don't know that.
Okay, we're giving away a hat, not a hat and but we're going to give away a hat or a shirt today, so stick with us. I'm just going to cut these out, try to tack, and we'll jump on the computer. Good job cleaning up, baby. You're being a little rough. Huh? Clean these up real fast. Tic tac, patty whack, give the dog a bone. Eddie always stays home. It's that year for that, isn't it? Staying home? Beautiful. Knock the slag off nice. Right. That's the only thing about that, you know, the old slag. Love them knee pads. You have to think, yeah, you have to go back and think about the old sports car. You think about the Bugatti that nowadays, I think, costs so many hundreds of thousands of dollars just to change the oil in the damn thing. And it's probably because how tight everything is and how hard it is to get at everything because they're trying to build it in such a small atmosphere. Atmosphere. Who am I kidding? Atmosphere. Who are you kidding, Hilts? Atmosphere. Oh, hey. Get down there. See what's going on now. Ooh, here we go. I like that. It's right on that. Just like that. That fits in there nice. That line is some close. But you know what happens? When I put this piece in, then I get a chance to knock that off with the grinder so it does not hit that line. But until then, I'm going to leave it, and that's the way it sets until this car goes upside down, or this frame chassis goes upside down and all around. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to tack it on the top and the bottom, and I'm going to try to put the other piece on. Arm still going to close it properly. Like that, just to see if that's tight. Tight now. No more pressure on it than that. That looks good. Maybe like. I gotta get down. Go over just a bit. I need more meat on that, to be honest with you. Yes. No. Okay, just a minute now. I have to. You want to go outside to your fiend bean? You let her out? Okay. I I have to adjust that. I'm just going to adjust this a little bit. What I have here is I need it over a little bit, and I'm scribing it to where it's hitting. It's hitting on the top, but I got a little hole right going on there. I need that over, that distance. I need that over there. And this right here is holding me up because that's the first place it's hitting. Also, it gets me away from that. How's that? Good, eh? Well, I guess. My gloves, sorry. Just gonna use a grinder maybe. Excuse me. Now that now. I get my distance. I want to see if get that top over there ways, haven't I? Second, I want to check the bottom. That's the basic thing I want to do. I want to check the bottom. I gotta check the bottom to see where it lays. Ooh, that would look good. I don't have to weld it over like that. That fits good now. I hold it over like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. I'm going to tack weld that there. It's not, what I say, it's not finished by no means. It's not finished by no means. But that's where I'm going to put it. The radiator is telling me that I put it back as far as possible. You know, when it's hitting the radiator, that it's back as far as possible. With it hitting on the spout, I'm going to have to repair the radiator, top and bottom. Top and bottom. I'm going to tack this one on, and then we're going to go to the computer, are we not?
Yep.
We're going to go to the computer. Or as close to the computer, is it not? What time? How many minutes?
15.
58. I'll tack this on, basically show you what I'm doing. I've showed you everything on the front end that I think that you should know. I appreciate you coming and hanging out with me. I really do, because you know, this is what we do. And we appreciate you coming and hanging out. Because there's other things you can be doing. We know that. So we appreciate and that sort of stuff. We're soon going to have one of those, what the heck you call it. And hold that up tight as possible. That's where I want it, tight as possible. I'm just going to hold my brackets tight there then. Just going to tack it. Trying to bite into the, maybe no. Ooh, oh. Leather throws the heat. All right. This is what I'm going to show you. This is what I've done. That's the bracket that's going down. It's welded on the frame. It bolts up against this bracket. Rack and pinion does. I'm hard against that little spout, and I'm going to change that spout. I'm going to block it off or put a different, smaller one on so that that's where it is. On the other side, I'm going to measure back the same distance on the rack and try to do the exact same thing on the other side. My arms are good. I may come a little... And that's another thing I'll have to keep watching. My steering radius, I want to know, I think that's good enough for a turn, is it not?
Yeah.
What?
Oh yeah.
Like, I think it's a good enough steering radius, I think. That's where it ends up. And that's basically it. I'm gonna tack the bracket on that, make sure I get I would say that's lots. Yes, that's lots. Wow, that's lots. So that's basically where I'm going. I'm gonna make this one fit on the other side. I've got a tack there, and it'll all have to be finished when it's on the ground there. Put that one on there. I'm gonna have to cut. Oh, cut it on the wrong way. I was just joking with you. I'm gonna have to make that go in there further like they did the other one. And then that's the place where we're gonna bolt it to. It's sitting, I can't ask, much better for the rack to be in that spot. This can go back. Wow. Look at that now, would you? This can go back some, baby. All right, good news. But anyway, that's basically what I'm gonna do, is put that in there. Then I know when I flip it upside down, I can push the rack hard up to it, hook the arms up with the engine and the radiator in it. Then I can tack that on and do it. I know I got a steering radius. I know it also goes up and down. See, it goes down and it goes all the way up. So that's for the air ride, so it goes down and up. We have to have that movement, right? Have to have that movement and the steering movement, and I think we have it. All right, let's go to the computer. Let's go to the computer. Oh, there we are. Look at that now, huh? I'm feeling better. My knees feeling better now. Maybe got some new knee pads on. Just taking it easy on the old knee. You know what I'm saying. It's funny how the work that I did to try to get the biggest hole for the rack does not work, but yet I'm happy that I done it. You know what I mean? It's almost like we took a drive one time. We went down the wrong road, and we took this long drive on the West Coast?
Pacific Coast
And
Highway.
we went on down there, and we went all the way down, and we got there, and they said you had to turn around because the road was closed. Well, I sort of we just traveled 3 or 4 hours. But when we came back, there was a whole different drive. And I was happy that we came back. And, I was happy. Things happen sometimes. I tore that all apart. I'm happy. Let's cruise.
What video do you want to do it on?
Let's do it on the last one. And all we're doing this for is because we were thinking about the comments, whether it's 1,000 or whether it's 500. I'm more or less thinking that we don't give a shit. We just want to give something away that support the people that do watch, and that's what we do it for. And we want to thank you.
Why not remove?
Bob Hallsteed.
Yeah, why not remove radiator and mount rack and pinion first, then mount rad last using tabs on side of radiator?
Ah, Bob. See, there's that. I answered your question tonight, I think. I answered your question. When we had that body on there, we had that radiator in there, there was only one place, and that's basically basically the red is the leader at the present moment, because that radiator only fit in there in one place. Come up either side, the front end of that car, and it could not be moved. That was a fixture that could not be moved. I looked at it and I said, last night before I went in, I looked at it and said the rack fit right up in there. I was going to move the rad over a little bit, and I slide it right up in there. I moved that rad along that whole bar. And no, I can't. No, I'm hoping that I still have it in its real place. That's what, basically, because I want that car to go together like a glove. Like I want it to go, no problem at all. And if I change that one little bit that is in there so tight, I will have a problem. So that's why I did it, Bob. And if you were here and you were watching tonight when I talk about it, we'll know together. You know what I'm saying? You know, you're building it with me, and I appreciate it. So, Bob, I'm glad you won a hat. Thanks for watching, and keep throwing out the comments. You know what I mean? Good. The only way to win a hat or a T-shirt, you have to go in the comment section and comment. That's the only way. And to me, I've kind of said, no, I do not want to push for something that does not matter. I want to give something away every time because we want to thank you. Peace out and have a good Sunday. Jolene, you look so good.